and welcome to Squaw! Social Quarterlies Under America. I'm Theodora Cruz.
And I'm Merida. Just Merida.
Today is December 2nd, but on November 23rd, government agencies were to slash greenhouse emissions by 42%. According to iPhones, U.S. federal agencies will reduce greenhouse gas emissions from their operations to 41.8%, below 2008 levels by 2025. The White House announced this on Monday. The announcement comes 1 week before nearly 200 countries meet in Paris to negotiate United Nations Climate Change Pact, and 8 months after President Barack Obama ordered agencies to cut its emissions by at least 40% by 2025.
An incident in Oregon where a 20-year-old gunman killed at least 9 people at Umpqua Community College. Speaking in the White House briefing room, Obama challenged voters wanting to deal with the problem to vote for elected officials who agree with that priority. He has had no success through his nearly 7 years in the White House in getting Congress to tighten laws involving firearms. The president noted that this wasn't his first appearance before reporters to pass on his condolences to the families and friends of the fallen in mass shootings. These incidents have become embedded in the life of America. Over the past several years, Obama has traveled to Aurora, Colorado, Tucson, Arizona, Charleston, South Carolina, and many other cities to mourn victims of gun violence. President Obama called for Americans to stop this violence.
And now, with a special interview from the Senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, we go live with Tricia Takanawa in Washington, D.C.
Thanks, Theodora. This is Tricia reporting live from Washington, D.C. We're on the phone with Senator Sanders. Senator Sanders, are you there?
Hello?
Senator Sanders?
Hello, Tricia, is that you?
Yes, this is me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear you over the sound of deforestation. I swear, all the talking is climate in the environment right now, and people are taking advantage of motherhood. It's just crazy, starting me crazy.
I sent you a video of these trees getting cut down. Look at the craziness.
Can you tell us anything about your campaign? How's it going?
Well, I know according to Huffington Post, I'm behind in the primary polls, but I'm not worried. I mean, hey, my president ain't too bad, is it?
And that is true. Bernie Sanders is down by 14% according to the most recent presidential polls by the Huffington Post.
Thank you, Senator Sanders, for your time.
Thank you.
We wish you the best of luck in your campaign.
Thanks. At the end of the day, I want people to feel the buzz.
Now back to you, Merida.
Thanks, Tricia. Now, fireside talks with Josh.
Senator Bernie Sanders, hoping to dispel the notion that his ideas are radical, defined his democratic socialist political philosophy on Thursday as a belief that economic rights are essential to American values. He hopes to build on the fight for economic rights led by President Franklin D. Roosevelt and later by Martin Luther King Jr., who decreed socialism for the rich and rugged individualism for the poor. In addition, speaking 6 days after the terrorist attacks in Paris, Sanders called for a new organization similar to NATO that would allow current NATO partners, Russia, and members of the Arab League to work together in confronting today's security threats.
In other news, the clock is ticking on President Barack Obama's executive action on immigration, and Texas seems to know it. The state on Monday asked the U.S. Supreme Court for more time to file court papers in its dispute with the federal government over the president's deportation relief programs, a move that may delay a ruling in the case until after Obama leaves office. 26 Republican-governed states, led by Texas, sued to stop Obama's 2014 plan to protect millions of undocumented immigrants from deportation. Lower courts blocked the executive action, prompting the Justice Department on Friday to launch an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court.
And now, reporting from somewhere in Mexico, our foreign correspondent, Choice Plasencia.
Reporting live here from Tijuana, Mexico, we asked the locals how they feel about the immigration policy, the standards of living, and of course Donald Trump. Let's hear what they have to say.
Spain is doing what Hitler did.
Yeah, all Hitler shit.
All Hitler stuff. That's all it is, Hitler stuff.
You know?
How you get millions of votes by saying no one in Mexico or rapist, and I'm going to deport all of Mexico.
Yeah.
What's on the other side of the wall?
On the other side of the wall is the rich people. Mm-hmm. So all the people that are poor on this side of the wall. Oh. And then over there is the rich people. So go to the other side of the wall over there. Separates the classes of people.
Igual que en todas partes, no estamos con muchas cosas. La verdad es que el gobierno no da o aporta, igual con la inseguridad, aquí es lo mismo que allá o en todas partes. Sí. Pedir para que ahorita por mientras que se cambien las cosas, nadie esté entrando al país y estén saliendo, para que haya más seguridad. Está bien.
My hand is in the United States, my body's in Mexico. This is the wall Donald Trump wants to replace.
Pat Nixon. We open this area, the agency, U.S. Border Patrol opens this area, and it's a government-sanctioned area for people to come and visit with family. Our main two goals here is to reunite families and strengthen families. And that's what we do here. We don't ask for any documentation, any immigration status, anything like that. We allow people to come here and enjoy the both sides of the community of Tijuana, Las Playas, which is the area you're in, and Imperial Beach. And as long as everyone follows the rules and everyone's safe, that's one of our other goals is the safety and security of the families here. And then everyone has a great time.
She's putting her finger to touch her. Hold the low one on the other side with her finger.
Oh, they put a new wall.
They put a new wall?
Yeah, they did. Last of it was all wood. It was made of wood. And you could just like...
Thank you, Choice. And now, with Real Talk with Rob Robertson.
Good evening. With the most recent terrorist attacks brought on in Paris, many Americans are starting to truly wonder, is it safe to be harboring Syrian refugees, or any refugees for that matter, within the United States? A bill in Congress has just been approved that would expand background checks on Iraqi and Syrian refugees hoping to enter the United States, and has quickly moved through congressional procedures. Known as the American Security Against Foreign Enemies, or SAFE Act, it received a House vote on November 19th, just 2 days after it was introduced. The vote succeeded 289 to 137, with almost all the Republicans and 47 of the Democrats voting in favor. The president himself has said he would veto the bill if it also passes the Senate. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for Real Talk. Back to you.
In more interesting news, here comes our segment, the gag reel. Merida, did you know that the winner of the Mr. Ugly pageant in Zimbabwe is being blasted for being too handsome?
No, I didn't. That's horrible.
I know. I don't know why you weren't invited, but apparently the reason why he is too handsome is because the only ugly part of him are his missing teeth. The other competitor said if he just closes his mouth, he is not naturally ugly. And now some news from the Senate. Voting against the healthcare law and Planned Parenthood again. Since the health overhaul became law in 2010, lawmakers have had dozens of votes, mostly in the House, on GOP efforts to scuttle all or part of it. With Republicans controlling Congress this year, each chamber has voted to halt the $450 million in annual federal payments in Planned Parenthood, the party's reaction to the group's role providing fetal tissue for research. Democrats mock the repeated votes as time-wasting political posturing, but Republicans say there's value in forcing Obama to veto legislation crippling the health law and stopping Planned Parenthood's federal dollars. Here at Squaw, we have some new and exciting information that we've decided to release to a small amount of the public. Let's go now and see how they react. We learned some recent insight that Donald Trump wants to ID Muslims if ever elected president. What do you think about that?
That's not good. That's like the Holocaust all over again, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, it seems crazy. I mean, like, the Muslims are just gonna die off like the Jewish people did.
That's not...
Now, obviously, that didn't work very well, so we apologize for any discrimination that has been expressed in our newscast today.
Thank you very much, and from all of us here at Squaw, have a good evening.